US President Donald Trump has signed off on a major disaster declaration for New York, freeing up much-needed funds to help the epicentre handle the pandemic. It came as the first rapid diagnostic test for COVID-19 received the tick of approval in California, which will be shipped around the country from next week.
In unprecedented times, the President declares New York a disaster zone.
This is the first time in our nation's history that a president's used the Stafford Act to declare a major disaster in response to a public health crisis.
More than 10,300 New Yorkers are now infected with COVID-19, accounting for a huge portion of the country's 25,000 in total. Of New York State's victims, 55% are between 18 and 49 years old. The emergency action, normally used in natural disasters, will release billions of dollars in aid to fight the crisis in the country's hotspot. 1 million masks are on their way to the Big Apple, as are 6,000 extra ventilators. The governor says they need 30,000.
This is a national problem, the medical supplies. States are scrambling.
New Jersey is the latest to order its people into lockdown. Back in New York, the Army Corps of Engineers has identified 4 sites for makeshift hospitals to isolate victims, including the city's largest convention centre known for massive events like Comic-Con. Those forced to work through the pandemic are now part of it. An air traffic controller tested positive, temporarily suspending all flights into New York. 52 NYPD police officers have caught it, and at Rikers Island Prison it's spread to 21 inmates and a dozen staff. But today, news of a test that delivers results in minutes, not days.
You take a sample, put it into this new cartridge that we've developed, and about 45 minutes later you'll have the result.
Exciting as it is, the top doctor advising the White House has a strong message for Americans.
Not every single person in the United States needs to get tested.
So scarce are supplies here in New York, the health department has instructed doctors to stop testing any patients who aren't in hospital, meaning there may be plenty infected who are staying at home. And if they flout the rules by coming outside, well, that's exactly how this disease spreads. New Yorkers today filled Battery Park, getting fresh air and exercising, cabin fever already kicking in.
You're not Superman and you're not Superwoman. You can get this virus.
Every American has a role to play in defending our nation from this invisible, horrible enemy.
In New York, Alexis Daish, 9 News.
And 9 US correspondent Charles Croucher is in Washington, D.C. tonight. Charles, the President has promised a big deal to help Americans. Just how big are we talking?
Looking at $2.5 trillion, Pete. That makes it comfortably the biggest rescue package in history. Staff here at the White House are working with lawmakers to finalise the details. We know it will include direct payments, that is cheques in the mail to Americans. There'll be improvements in unemployment benefits and also small business bailouts. The hope to stimulate not only the American economy but the global economy, and that impacts Australia. Tonight we've learnt that Vice President Mike Pence, the man in charge of the COVID-19 response, has tested negative after a member of his own staff contracted the virus. Pete?
Charles Croucher reporting from Washington, D.C. Thank you.